You are not seeing a repeat of yesterday. This is actually me, and I was running behind. I told you I would come here at 7:30. So here I am. And I did not give myself enough time. So as I was not knowing what to wear this morning, I just threw on the same clothes as yesterday. But as you can see, my hair is wet. I just got out of the shower, and so this is definitely a different me today. Not recording on the same day. I have my peppermint tea because peppermint tea is what I have when I'm late getting ready in the morning. And I thought today that we would talk about resistance. I was just talking to my daughter, and I notice there's a lot of things where, in life, we will say things like, I want this thing, but I don't think I can have it. And, it was one of those things where last night I was listening to her. She was talking about some issues she was having. And I just kept trying to say, well, release the resistance and, kind of give her advice. And she finally was just like, you're not listening. And so I was like, okay, fair enough. You don't want you're not asking for my help. You're just asking for me to listen. So I was listening. And then I said, I see that this is really hard for you. And I wish I knew what to say. I wish I knew what to do. And that helped her feel better. The thing is a lot of times when somebody's telling us what we need to do, if there's a lot of resistance around something, somebody telling us what to do probably is not going to help. So if we're listening, it might be a good idea to just do the full listening thing where you just acknowledge, hey, I see that this is causing you a lot of strife. And then I wish, I hope, I wonder, but usually I wish I could help. I wish I could say something that would make it feel better. That usually makes them feel a little bit better. That being said, I want to talk about the resistance of I want it, but. And the simple fix to that, now that I am fixing, see, here I am. Here's the thing. If I tell you what to do, you don't have to listen to me. I'm not your mom. But you may give me a chance because I'm a stranger on the internet and you might be ready to receive this message. The thing is, resistance can only go away when you let it go away, right? If like only you are able to choose to say a different thing or to choose to think about it in a different way or to choose to reframe whatever is bothering you in a different way. For example, uh I let's see, something that somebody would wanna do. I wanna write a book, but it's too hard for me to sit there. I want to we'll just go with the book. It's too hard for me to sit there, and it's too lonely. Okay. The first step in releasing this kind of resistance, in my opinion, the simplest step is when you're saying, "I want this thing, but" end the sentence at, "I want this thing." At least for 5 minutes. Maybe set a timer, okay? So, I want this thing. I want to write a book. Instead of getting to the buts, and you can probably hear them in your mind. Like, you could say it out loud and then start thinking, "But I can't because I can't I wanna do this thing, but this thing is stopping me. I wanna do this thing, but I've never written a book before. I wanna do this thing, but my English teacher in high school told me I sucked at writing." Whatever it may be, write your statement or say your statement out loud. I want this thing. I want to write a book, for example. Just end the sentence. Set a timer for 5 minutes. And every time you start to hear or feel a thought creep up that says, but you can't because of blah, 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 I want you to imagine that little voice, not as a big, bad, mean ego, but as a little kid inside of you that's just trying to protect you. I want this thing. I want to write a book. Okay. Now, that little ego kid inside of you is just trying to help you because they've been there by your side your your whole life trying to protect you from certain things. And maybe when you were 7 and the teacher put you in the reading group that was the slow reading group or whatever, and that made you feel, that caused some feelings of, you're not smart enough, you're not good enough, whatever it may be. If that happened to you, then that little version of you inside of you, that little Jen Sincero um in You Are a Badass, she calls it the Little Prince. And I don't know if it's in You Are a Badass or You Are a Badass at Making Money. It's one of the two, but she calls it the Little Prince. And in internal family systems, which is a kind of therapy that I love, it's he's suggesting there's not just one little prince, there could be like a whole like little daycare of children down there inside your psyche that's all taking different roles to protect you from different things. So just imagine that little person, a little person, several little people, whatever, are telling you, no, you shouldn't do that because of this. So you write, I want to write a book. And then maybe this person is like, it's too lonely. Okay, fair enough. Just what you're going to do is you're going to ask, you might actually sit down. If you have a good imagination, you can sit down and actually imagine something like this where you sit down, you say, I want to write a book, and you could sit quietly and just say out loud or in your mind, or you could journal it. That's sometimes easier, writing it down while you think it. And you just say, hey, I want to think about this new thing that I want to try to do. I want to try to be a writer. But I hear a lot of you guys talking, and a lot of you are saying I shouldn't, or I can't, or it's not a good idea. I would love it. I'm going to listen to you eventually. Like, I'm going to get to you. I promise I'm going to talk to you individually, or I'll get a therapist that knows internal family systems so that they can talk me through it. I would love to talk to you about why you don't think you can. And we'll have a little session, but would it be okay if you gave me 5 minutes and I'm just going to sit here and just think about how I want to write a book, why I want to write a book, and how my life would be great if I could write that book. Whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, that the resistance creeps in big time. And just sit there. Usually now if a part's like, no way, I need to talk to you right now, then just say, okay, let's air your grievances. And you can write down all the things that they say that aren't like all the reasons why you shouldn't write a book. Write them all down. And then you say, okay, is that everything? And then you say, okay, I appreciate you telling me. Now, could I have 5 minutes where I'm going to put those reasons why I can't. I'm going to put those to the side for just a few minutes. And I'm just going to sit here for 5 minutes. I'm going to set the timer. All I'm going to do is think about it for 5 minutes. And we're going to see what comes up. Would that be okay? Usually by that point, that part or that ego version of yourself will calm down and say, "Okay, I'll let you do that." So then you just spend the 5 minutes saying, "I want to be a writer. I'd love to be a writer." Being a writer would be amazing. Being a writer would be amazing because, and then you start thinking of all the reasons being a writer would be amazing because it might be, who knows? What are your reasons? Because I could be famous. And then you might hear a little person go, it's not good to be famous. It's not safe to be famous. Look at so and so who's famous. And then you go, okay, I'm going to get to you in a minute. Is that okay if I get to you a minute? And you don't have to ask permission. It's how you want, but just be it. The nice, you kind of play parent, like the nicest version of a parent you could imagine. Maybe it was an aunt or an aunt, as I say, that you can imagine, like, somebody that's just so kind. Like, when my mom brushed my hair, she was always like, "Er, er," she would just get the tangles out. And I remember this one day, my Aunt Bonnie, she brushed my hair, and it was like she had, like, a feather touch, and, like, my hair still got untangled, and it was amazing. And I was like, "Oh, why can't my mom be like that?" So, imagine that version of an aunt or somebody that's just so, so kind. Maybe you never had anyone like that in your life that was kind, but I bet you can imagine either someone on TV or you're just longing or you've always longed for a certain kind of parent that you wish would come in and parent you. Be that parent for these little parts inside. And so you say, so it might be like a gentle boundary. So you might say, I hear what you're saying. I really appreciate that. Can we let that wait? I'm gonna let that wait for a few minutes. And then if they're like, "No, no, no, you have to do it now," then say, "Okay, I'm gonna write that down. It's dangerous to be famous because of this." And then you write that down on your list of grievances with the kids, with these internal family parts. And then or maybe maybe for you it's just like one ego embodiment. But if you think of it as a little kid that's just trying their best, it does help, and it helps with self-kindness too, because you don't need to kill the ego. The ego is part of you. Like, don't kill it, just love it and let it be heard and let it know that you care about that part of you. Like, why do we have to kill things? We don't have to kill it. So now you're back to the meditation. I want to be a writer. It would be amazing to be a writer because if I could get paid for it, then I could make my own hours. Or if I could do, I could create my own worlds. I love sitting, I don't want to be lonely while I'm writing, but it is nice to be alone sometimes. And so just think of all the good reasons of why being a writer would be absolutely amazing for you. So, when the timer's up, you let it go. And then, if it's possible, then just let it go throughout the day. We don't need, so now insistence on it. Like sometimes, let's say you're like, being a writer would be amazing because then I would be famous. Okay. I'm not knocking the desire for fame. I think that there's probably a lot of things underneath that are what your real needs and desires are. But let's just say there's nothing wrong with that. People are famous. I think a lot of people who are famous enjoy it. There are a lot of perks that go with it. A lot of drawbacks too, but I think there are a lot of perks. So maybe you're like, I want to be that girl. I want to be that famous writer. I would love that. So then while you're maybe you imagine that, but let's say the point of this is like you let it fill you up with an amazing feeling. Maybe 5 minutes is too short. Maybe go to 15 minutes, whatever, to just really be in that vibration of sparkling glitter and not just for the fame thing. Maybe you have no desire for fame, but the sparkling glitter of the feeling, like that feeling of high vibration that excites you and that makes you feel passionate. So when you're in that feeling, let it go as long, let it build up to a peak. And each time you have little resistant thoughts, ask them to step aside for a few more minutes. And then if they need you to write down the concern or worry, but then just be in that place and just reflect on what it is that you're trying to become and let it make you so happy. Let it just bubble up inside of you. And then once you do that, for a bit, then once it reaches its peak, you let it go, like I was saying, and then you just get to work. You decide you ask yourself, "Okay, what's the most exciting thing to do right now? I would like it to go in that direction, but I'm just going to listen to intuition." Maybe the intuition says, "Go to the coffee shop." Okay, go to the coffee shop. Maybe the right person you need to talk to is at the coffee shop, but maybe not. But if you start to say, I trust in synchronicity and I trust in my intuition and I'm going to follow my intuition and I'm going to trust that it will bring me to the right people at the right time and that I'll be in the right place at the right time for when I'm ready. And then now and then you just follow that. You follow that path. You follow that intuition and the synchronicity will kind of let you know, "Oh, you are on the right path. Keep going." What's interesting is if one of the reasons you want to be, let's say for example, this is what will get you off the path for that and will bring resistance right back in really quickly. Let's say for example, I want to be a writer. Let's say if I'm a writer, then one day I'll be rich. Okay, that's an exciting thought. Maybe you will. But if you think now, if you have that before you and you've let it go, and now you're thinking, okay, what's my next thing to do? Then maybe your intuition says, go to the coffee shop. And then I'm like, but then you think, oh, but if I go to the coffee shop, then I'm not writing. So if I'm not writing, then I can't write the book. And then that means that I can't be rich. So if I if I'm not I can't follow my intuition. I can't follow this guide that's leading me to synchronicity because I think that I've got to hold the wheel and direct everything so that I can become rich. Now maybe you still can. Maybe you're like, "Oh, I want to write this book. This book is really exciting." And then you think, "Oh, first of all, it's so exciting to write this book. This makes me feel really happy." But then you're like, "Oh, wait. Somebody already wrote a book like this, and last time I checked, vampire books are out and they're not trending, so I better write this other book instead." If you follow your excitement, the path the path is never going to be direct, but the idea is that you're not going to necessarily get to where you need to go if you're trying to control the how. You don't know how your writing is going to lead to the life that you want to live. You may not be rich, you may not be famous. You may not even finish the book. I don't want to be such a downer. Like that's not the point. But the point is while you're following your excitement, it will lead you to the thing that's truly for you and is truly your excitement. And but you have to let go of the resistance around it like, "Oh, I'm doing it wrong. I'm not getting the money that I thought I would get. This is boring. I'm alone." Whatever you can do to like release the resistance around any of it, it will start to guide you much, much better. And you'll start to hear the guidance better. And yeah, maybe when your intuition says go to the coffee shop, that might be all it's saying. It might be saying go to the coffee shop because you need a break because you're working too hard to try to figure this out. So that is my little bit today about releasing resistance around the things that we want to do. And we're going to talk about that kind of thing a lot here because it's usually what I end up having conversations with the people in my life about. And it's usually stuff that I need to listen to myself. So the best way to learn something really well is to teach it. So there you go. I hope that helps and makes some sense for you. I'm going to just look in the chat. I don't see anybody in the chat, but I'm going to click on it anyway, see what's going on. Looks good. All right, now I'm going to do just a full-blown Oracle deck pull from my Mabon deck. I'm going to put away this Star Maiden Tarot deck, which I had out yesterday. And I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna have to go through. I like to take a picture of the things that we do so that you can see the spread, but I'll get to that later and try to put that up as soon as I can. Okay. I'm going to just say to the tarot today, in relation to what we're talking about, Just please show me how to release resistance today. Now, in that book, The War of Art that we talked about, he talks about resistance being like the enemy and beating him to the ground. But maybe resistance is simply a bunch of little kids inside us. Okay, that. Let me talk a little bit about internal family systems. It sounds like I'm crazy, but literally when you learn about this therapy, everyone sounds crazy when they describe it because you start to just imagine that there's all these little kids down inside your subconscious that are just working so hard to help you or be there for you. And so it's pretty acknowledged in the world of internal family systems that everybody kind of sounds crazy when they're talking about them. But releasing the resistance is simply acknowledging those little parts inside you that are scared, that have been around since you were a little kid, trying to help you out. And you let them know that you love them and that you understand why they might be scared. And then you just very gently but firmly say, okay, but I'm going to do this thing. And it really helps though to have, someone who's a therapist, like an internal family systems therapist, if you want to go down that road. And we can talk more about that another episode. If you're interested, write in the comments if you're interested in finding out more about that idea. Okay. So again, please show me how to release resistance around this thing that I really want to do. I'm just being nice and quiet so that I can get ready to receive any kind of inspiration or intuition that might be coming through as I do this. Or please show me the best way to release resistance around this thing that I really would prefer to do. Okay. Okay. I'm really excited about this one. And I'll tell you why. I am writing a story right now that's kind of about this idea, the ghost whisperer. So the first present moment is ghost whisperer. Second is elderberries. I love elderflowers. I really hope that one of the spring seasons of the witch has elderflowers because I love the flavor of elderflowers. And I also love, who doesn't love an elderberry gummy that's supposed to help you with your immune system? It's like, oh, I have to eat candy that tastes amazing. Okay, it's good for me. I'll do it. Oh my gosh. Again, we pulled molasses. What the heck? All right. We're going with it. It must need attention. So that happens. Okay. I'm going to read. So, Ghost Whisperer. Now, when I look at this, it feels like it has direct relationship with me and what I'm working on and the writing I'm working on actually. Now for you, let's think about how this works for you in that, like, how does it connect to you and what you're trying to do? Let's look at the picture for a little bit. We have some candles in here. It looks like she has some sort of like grimoire or magic spell book. She's got her hand on a skull. Yee. And then she's got a chalice of some kind. And then are those mushrooms? Looks like maybe some mushrooms and tomatoes. Anyway, she has all sorts of things around her. Now, for me, I'm not a big I'm too much of a chicken to be a part of anything like a seance or Ouija boards. They're not for me. But Sometimes we just look at these things symbolically. Like, what do they mean to us? It has more to do with what it means to us than what it might mean literally in the picture. Okay. So elderberry. Oh, let's start with the ghost whisperer first. We're gonna read about her. It says, "Be still in the whispers that ebb and flow through the silence." Ooh, I love that. She's number 18. Keywords: messages, warnings, guidance. Your higher self chose this card because it represents the receipt of messages, especially those that come from someone in your past. Ooh. You may have a chance to find closure, or you might reconnect with someone who was once meaningful to you. Have you been thinking about someone in particular? Perhaps an ex or an old flame has entered your mind recently. So consider reaching out to them. They may need to speak with you about something important, but don't have a way of contacting you. A simple conversation, even just small talk, can open your eyes to a clever solution to a problem that has plagued you. This person may become a permanent fixture in your life when pulled with Witches Gathering, card 42. We did that a couple days ago, or maybe yesterday. Yeah. Should this card fall? Should this card fall from the deck in reverse? It's a critical warning. Someone from your past means you harm. Okay. Like I said, with this kind of thing, you can create what you want it to be. You don't. So for me, I'm letting this mean something very different than what the book is saying. And then I don't love this kind of reverse card thing. Some people like to feel warned about something. Some people kind of maybe, I don't believe that this is true in the long run, but I think some people believe that they thrive on some level, feel like they thrive on anxiety and worry and the idea of people harming them and people trying to, I don't know, like injure them. I mean, that may be true. I'm not saying that that's not true, but I am saying that when you hold your own, when you hold your own and you work on your vibration, you usually don't have to worry about anyone else plotting to harm you or hurt you. So I let those kinds of ideas go, and it seems to work for me. That being said, you always have the choice to create the kind of way that you relate to either the tarot cards or to life in general. Okay, so that's present moment. So perhaps for you, like as far as show me how to release the resistance around this thing I'm trying to do. Um maybe for you, maybe it is about contacting someone that you haven't seen in a while. Maybe it's someone that really is on the other side and doesn't mean necessarily like trying to have some sort of seance, but just we can connect in different ways. Like there are ways that feel good and sweet and calm and peaceful. I think those are actually the best ways to connect to people on the other side. It's not about like chimes and bells and candles, though, you know, I love to light a candle and kind of it's like a little flame, it's like an invitation. That being said, I do think that um the way to really connect is often, I mean, I think this practice I've heard people say, and I actually really like this one. It's the idea more of you're connecting with your higher mind and you are inviting someone else's higher mind to connect to your higher mind. And so that can be an interesting practice. In fact, when they talk about the mastermind practice in Napoleon Hill's book Think and Grow Rich, and then the Laws of Success, which was in his second edition, not the first edition, he talks about this idea of the mastermind. And a lot of times, the mastermind, we think a mastermind is like getting together with these dude bros that know stuff about investing, and then we all share ideas. And that's true. But some of the original practices of the mastermind are actually using kind of your higher your higher mind, imagining your higher mind connecting to the higher mind of like other people. Like it could be somebody that's been successful in the past. It could be anybody. Like some people want to connect with, I don't know, Martin Luther King, or they might want to connect to like John Lennon. I'm just thinking of people who were assassinated. Or whoever it may be. You may want to connect to your grandmother because you may think that she has wisdom for you. And so when I do something like this, it's very simple. It's not, you know, it's not ritualistic really. It's really just kind of sitting in a quiet place and then just daydreaming. It's like it's a practice in daydreaming. I'm going to daydream that I'm talking to this person. I'm going to daydream and talk to the higher mind of Oprah, right? Like it doesn't even have to be somebody who's dead, but it's just an exercise in daydreaming and you see what kind of comes through. So, I think that's kind of a fun and interesting practice. And then that can help you connect to maybe more of your answers of how to release the resistance are right there as you connect to these people. Not that the other people have all the answers for you or that you need to go to somebody else for the advice and answers, because I do believe the answers are inside of you and, through your higher mind or your guidance system. But sometimes just kind of imagining your relationship or with another person, whether it's, a relative that's passed on or something like that, or that's here. Sometimes it's the relational thing that helps us to understand ourselves and what we're trying to do in a more clear way. Okay, elderberries is the next one. I gotta get this out. Okay, elderberries. There it is, a knowing within bone. Allow it to guide you. Okay, love that. It's number 13. So, keywords are wisdom, crone energy, yikes, learning from experience. Your higher self chose this to remind you there's value in seeking out guidance from someone who has been there before. Just interesting. We are just talking about that. However, there's tremendous value in learning by doing. You can research, ask questions, or watch others who are masters of their craft, but at some point you have to get in there and practice it and practice if your aim is to develop your skills. You have pulled the elderberries card to to gently nudge you out of the planning phase and into the doing phase. You may get it wrong at first or feel awkward, which is okay because the only way to improve it is to focus and learn from your mistakes. Each misstep tells you what to avoid, and every success confirms all that you have learned. Elderberries also reminds you to stop seeking validation from others. Hmm. I I did that a lot in my life. If there's an example of what you want to do, then you'll be the first. Wait, okay. Reading again. Okay. It's not that bright in here. So that's why I can't read. Also, yeah, glasses don't fix everything. If there is not an example of what you want to do, then you'll be the first. And with time, your wisdom will guide others. If you're attempting to do something that many others are doing, trust that there is room for everyone to bring a unique perspective. Okay, back to the little, like my example, like when you're thinking, oh, I want to write a vampire book, but there's already vampire books. You never know. Maybe you have a unique perspective that no one else had. You do not, sorry. You do not have to pattern yourself after other people to be successful. Okay. I love that. It all comes back to your own guidance system, right? It's like, you know, talk to others, converse with others, maybe connect with others in a council situation, people that are higher, and then a council system inside with your internal family system people. So, as above, so below. It might be connecting with all that guidance, but at the end of the day, it's always you. What does your guidance tell you to do? What is the quiet stillness inside of you? What is it saying? Because only you can bring forth the thing that's meant to come through you, not anyone else. And they're all there to help us, but ultimately we have to do the work, we have to do the practice. So I love that. Um okay, and remember to be still in the whispers that ebb and flow through the silence. So listen to the own whispers, your own higher mind, your own guidance system, and what are those whispers telling you? Okay. Molasses, what again? Why, you know, it's just like that. We pulled it the other day and we pulled it again a different day. What is it trying to tell us? Keyword stagnation, laziness, lacking motivation. To move forward, you must know where you are headed. So, this is next steps. Your higher self chose this card because molasses represents a period of uncertainty where the path ahead isn't clear. And despite your best efforts, you simply cannot seem to move forward. Standing still is very frustrating, but you're in this period of pause so that you can take some time to get a full understanding of where you actually want to go. This card will often visit you after a period of significant but unintentional action. You may have made choices in haste of late and are coming to regret some of your decisions. Perhaps you said yes too quickly and now wish to back out, or a situation seems like a worthy gamble but is now turning out to be a nightmare. It may not seem like it now, but this period of indecision is helping you to slow down, gain perspective, be patient, and wait for the right opportunity to find you. In the meantime, focus on diving deeper into your spirit. Are there mundane tasks you could focus on while you aren't distracted by other things? Perhaps you might consider a practice such as meditation to take your mind off your current problems. You will find that the stickiness goes away when the time is right for things to move forward again. This card also advises you not to make any hasty decisions right now. Take care of what you need to do, of course, but delay any life decisions until more information comes to hand. I feel like a broken record. And for some reason, that's the answer for us today. So if you feel, make sure, like, this card is definitely an action card, and this would be considered the roots. It's in the roots position. It's like this. That's the position they were in. So roots or past, present moment with the ghost whisperer, and next steps is molasses. It's interesting because we keep getting molasses as next steps too, which is like, that is a clear message to slow down. So take it as you will. I mean, if you really feel like it's time for action, then take the action. But if you're getting this card and the card seems to be suggesting to slow down and really get calm first, and you know that maybe the message for that is this whole idea of slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So when you slow down, maybe the actions that you take are really slow and methodical. So, okay, for me, I'm writing this story and I want to get going on the story, but I've been told that the show Bible for a TV show is really critical. And once you have this show Bible and you don't hurry or rush the show Bible, then you'll have all you need to move forward and write all the rest of the characters. And so sometimes when I'm writing and I'm working on the show Bible, I feel bad because I'm not writing the actual script. I'm not like meeting my page count or whatever. But perhaps this card, at least for me, is inviting me to like slow down, just get the show Bible done. Get the show Bible done first. and then the rest will come. On occasion, I will get messages like that where I'm I'm jumping the gun, right? Like I will have something before me, which is really great, but for some reason I think it's not enough or it's not good enough or it's not getting me to where I think I want to go. But then a lot of times I will get an intuitive answer that's just like, just work on what you have in front of you. Just do this, take care of this. And once you take care of this, then something else will move in and take its place, and it's all well and good. So I'm going to take the molasses card as kind of that kind of message. Like, just what do you have before you? Be in the present moment. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Once you get going, once that flow starts, like take care of what you have before you. So, one time, for example, I'll give you a really good example. I was working on my cookbook. Right here, I'll show you. I wrote it in 2012. So, it's been 13 years since I wrote that. And I was working on it. I had a deadline, and which I watched all of Smallville during the time that I wrote that book. And so it was a very happy time in my life writing it and getting everything done. It was a lot of work. And I was not given a generous deadline. I was given quite a firm deadline that was quite close. And anyway, I was doing it. I was getting it done, but I don't know. I guess I had one foot. I mean, energetically, I must have had one foot out the door trying to move things along. And then, what's next? What's next? What's next? I kept asking, like, what is next in my next steps? And the answer, I had this dream, and I was like at this table. It was kind of like a farmer's market sort of situation. And there was this nice blonde man that let me try a sample of something. Like it was white chocolate and orange, like, I don't know, candied orange or something. And so I tasted it and it was good. And he was just a nice man with blonde hair. And that was that. And I forgot about the dream. And then later that day, I was in a place where I would go to reflect and receive inspiration. And I was sitting there quietly, and I had forgotten all about the dream. But while I was sitting there reflecting, the dream came rushing back to me. And then I said, okay, what does that mean? And then the answer came very, very quickly. And it just said, finish writing your cookbook and like finish writing your cookbook, and all the things that you're asking for will happen. Like, so take care of the thing that you're working on, which is right in front of you. Like, take care of that now. And then, let synchronicity take care of the rest. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I focused on I was still going to finish my book. I wasn't going to miss the deadline, but it kind of breathed some new life into the manuscript and what I was working on so that I could be a little bit more joyful. Like I thought, okay, I don't need to rush this. I can be a little bit more present with it. I don't know if I was more present, but I do think it changed my perspective of it a little bit. So anyway, that was all in the past. And then I had a book signing, and later after the book was published, and that's where I met my husband, who is blonde, has blonde hair and is a really nice person. And I I don't recall that in the dream he looked just like Matt or whatever, but I've always seen that as a sign from my intuition that was like, this was an important thing for you to do it well, to take your time on the thing that was before you and in front of you, to take care of that. And then it was like the universe or God sort of created the synchronicity to put me with the right person. And he came specifically, well, it wasn't specifically for me, but there were some other people there. And actually, we were all sitting at tables. So it was interesting because instead of him sitting at the table, it was me sitting at the table. Who knows? I don't know if there's any symbolism there or if that was something of note, but that's what I have to say about that. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Whatever you have in front of you already, work on that. And then if that's, and even if it's not the right thing to be working on, you'll know. Just work on it and be quiet and sit in those quiet moments. And then you'll know whether it's the right thing. If it's not the right thing, I'm sure you'll get those answers if you listen for them. That, my friends, is the end of today. And I really appreciate you joining me. I hope that you are all able to release resistance around the things you're trying to create and the things that you are making in your lives. And I hope you have a wonderful and beautiful 4th of November. And we will see you tomorrow. And we'll see what time. I will try to remember to put it in the community tab or the posts tab. I think it's called community for you. And, if you follow me, if you subscribe, then you'll see those things and I will let you know when our show will be tomorrow morning. I believe it will be at 7:30 again. We'll see if this is working. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in and you have